Because when Peter Thiel puts all of you in a cage, you're going to want some way to get out of that. You know, Peter Thiel now is doing talks on the Antichrist because he is the Antichrist. So he knows about the Antichrist and he's talking about it. It's never enough to just be the thing, by the way. You have to constantly bother people. O.J. Simpson wrote a book called If I Did It. No one can just get away with anything. It's got to be shoved in your face. When Peter Thiel's asked things like, should the human race exist? And he kind of stutters and stammers. Peter Thiel, do you think the human race should survive? Maybe. And doesn't really seem to have that one seems easy. And he doesn't really have an answer for that. So Peter Thiel is giving talks about that he's worried about the Antichrist. He's giving a 4-part lecture. This is true. I've never heard a person talk about the Antichrist as much as this guy. So he's doing a 4-part lecture about the Antichrist. So when you're in the Peter Thiel Palantir prison, and every day is the same, and it's just going to be on closed-circuit TV, or maybe he'll be a hologram at that point. I don't know. He just is going to talk to you about the Antichrist, and you're going to be in a cell in Peter Thiel's prison, and then he's just going to go, it's the Antichrist Part 3, and you're going to have to sit there and go, every day, every goddamn day. I mean, obviously, Satan emerges as an angel. He's an angel at first, and so we have to think, and at Palantir, what we try to do is look at all the angels and see who's a little Satan. Who's actually a little Satan that looks maybe like an angel? What angels are going to fall? We at Palantir actually like to know which angels are going to fall before they're fallen angels, so that we can actually identify the Antichrist before it happens. Thank you, Peter.
Well, you know, Peter Thiel is giving a 4-part lecture on the Antichrist.
Yeah, that seems odd.
4-part. Well, here's what's really wild to me. 4 parts. It's not just one. One lecture on the Antichrist would be insane. This guy's doing a series. He's doing a 4-part lecture on the Antichrist, and nobody in his inner orbit went, Peter, how about one lecture on the Antichrist or no lectures? Not 4.
What does he know about the Antichrist? Is he like...
I'm guessing a lot.
If you told me there was a movie and there was a guy who played the Antichrist, zoom in on that image of him.
Yeah.
I would say, oh, is that him? Is that the Antichrist?
This is like me doing a 4-part lecture on Long Island racism. Just to show everybody, you know, how much I know about it and how scary it is and how we got to watch out for it. But it's totally not me or anyone I know. It's no one that's ever been in my backyard, but those others.
And you're going to look at the other people in your cell, you go, it's so obvious he's the Antichrist. It's like obvious. And they're going to go, I know.
But I don't understand, like, what is he doing?
He's trying to prove he's not the Antichrist.
By ratting him out.
By doing it. He's like, if I was the I mean, that's probably how the lecture starts. He goes, now, if I was the Antichrist, I obviously wouldn't be doing this lecture. It's so strange to have this, you build military AI, military drone, autonomous drone technology to export to war zones all over the world. You build domestic surveillance technology to surveil our friends and neighbors. And then your other pet passion is the Antichrist. It's odd. Wouldn't you include tennis? Wouldn't you go, and I'm big into tennis? Something else. It's odd, and I like ice fishing. I build autonomous drone technology. I build domestic surveillance technology.
And I love lake trout.
And I love lake trout, and I love big mouth bass fishing.
Yeah.
But instead, he goes, and I've also developed quite a keen interest in Satan.
Our good friends at Palantir, Peter Thiel, and our good friends at Palantir, Peter Thiel, Satan, and many others, are looking to expand Palantir into being a lifestyle brand because what they've realized, Peter Thiel, by the way, came out recently and said that regulating AI hastens the antichrist. In fact, Peter Thiel's going, you're Satan if you try to stop my product. If you try to limit artificial intelligence, you try to regulate it in any way, you're Satan. You're Satan. Ross Douthat at the New York Times was like, hey, don't you think, if people were looking at who would be the Antichrist, it might be you? And he's like, actually, it would be Greta Thunberg. Now, Greta Thunberg may or may not be annoying, but it is interesting that Peter Thiel thinks that some chick on a flotilla trying to bring rice to Gaza is more likely to be Satan than the guy building autonomous drone armies. But again, I'm not a theologist. Now, Peter Thiel, get this up, Palantir is going to become a lifestyle brand. They're going to start buying up podcasters and YouTubers and whatever. And they better come to daddy with a big offer. Don't come to me with nothing. You better give me something good so that when I come on here and I make a fool out of myself and I lose every goddamn fan, I got 100 million. When I lose every goddamn fan because I come on this show and I start talking about how the Palantir list is good for you, well, the thing about the Palantir list, you got to look at it another way, the Palantir list. What's so bad about somebody knowing everything you've ever done and that person being the CIA? Why don't you want the CIA knowing everything you've ever spent money on or contributed to or eaten or every disease you've ever had? Why don't you want the CIA know? When I'm out here like that, got my fat pussy on the street, you better pay me. You better pay my pussy. Because these hoes out here are going to sell for cheap. These hoes are going to sell for cheap. Peter Thiel has realized that the focus has been for too long on drones and Satan. And I think they probably had a meeting at Palantir and they said, Peter, everything with you is facial recognition software and the devil. Why don't you branch out? So what they're trying to do right now is rebrand Palantir so that it's kind of like a fun Lululemon. So it's kind of like, probably it involves some wearables. Defense tech giant Palantir is selling T-shirts and tote bags as part of a bid to encourage fans to publicly endorse it. Palantir is sick of the bad press. They're sick of people pointing out that they're exporting technology all over the world for the purposes of death. They want to change that image. They want it to be cool. A Palantir shirt, a tote, a hoodie. The game is merch. Turn Palantir into a lifestyle. Surveillance is a lifestyle. Mass death is a lifestyle.
Well, that's the thing. JD's going to have to say Peter Thiel is Satan, and here's why that's good. JD has to get out there and go, wouldn't you rather know who Satan is and be friends with him and have dinner with him than have it be like, who's Satan?
Right.
So he's got to get out there and say, I happen to be friends with Satan. And I want that to be
misunderstood.
I want it to be destigmatized.
Right. If Satan could go on the Nelk Boys, maybe they could straighten it out.
That's right. Peter Thiel on the Nelk Boys, when they go, what do you think about fast food? And he goes, I take one pill every day to survive. And it gives me all of my nutrients.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Peter Thiel eats food like a person. I think it's like he has some type of...
What?
Didn't
you get invited to have lunch or something, or dinner with Peter?
Yes, I said no.
Did you?
I said no. I'm a little wary of that circle of people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I want to go to a dinner with someone who's going to talk endlessly about the Antichrist.
The jig is up. Now, of course, we have to end with this ad, which is awkward. The Tim Dillon Show is sponsored by Palantir. Palantir, a brighter future is ahead. Palantir is here to help government and people exist together. Look at your neighbors. Do you love them? Well, you'll love them even more with Palantir. You'll know everything about them and you. Palantir will get involved in your communities and make them safer and stronger. God, we love Palantir. Alex Karp and Peter Thiel are proud to support the Tim Dillon Show. Are you concerned that Israel's rockets are not reaching their intended targets? Is that one of your big concerns? Here at the Tim Dillon Show, we want to remind you that Palantir is building a machinery that makes Israeli rockets efficiently fire at their Palestinian targets. Thank you, Alex Karp and Peter Thiel at Palantir, for sponsoring the show. Are you concerned that your Labubu has a listening device in it? We want to remind you that Palantir doesn't know anything about that. They have no idea about. They just don't know about. We don't know about it.